Hey everybody, today I'm going to rate LEGO StarShip Collection from best to worst. LEGO StarShip Collection all got launched on March 2024. These are the 3 sets. None of the sets come with any minifigures. One of the cool things about the StarShip Collection is it's completely open to new sets in the future. Quick history about these sets. The first set is the Invisible Hand. It's never been made before, so this is just one of one. The next ship we have is the Tandem 4. It's only been made one other time back in 2019, and it's a pretty big ship. And the last, but definitely not least, is the Millennium Falcon. It's been made over 12 plus times. There's just way too many examples here for this one. Comparing the prices at launch, the Invisible Hand was only $50, the TANTIVE and the Millennium Falcon are both $80. And when it comes to pieces, one might surprise you, but the Invisible Hand has 557 pieces, the TANTIVE 5 has 654, and for the same price as the TANTIVE, the Millennium Falcon has 921 pieces. That's going to be definitely one to look at today. The first ship we're going to talk about today is the Invisible Hand. The first time the Invisible Hand was seen was Revenge of the Sith back in 2005 with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Palpatine in the famous scene where they end up saving Palpatine, killing Count Dooku, and then the ship obviously splits in half as they're landing it, which makes it one of the most famous ships in Star Wars history. The only issue is it's kind of the only appearance it has. Other than one episode of The Bad Batch called The Aftermath, you don't really see it so much. It is always a ship the LEGO fans have always been wanting. We just didn't really think it would be in the mini scale collection. I do love this ship. As you can tell, there's a lot of details in here. The price per piece is actually really great. The colors make sense. And there are some details that are really cool. The hangers on the side, which are those blue windows that you see, that's actually for the hangars where Anakin and Kenobi end up flying into. So I do love those little details like that. The stickers weren't so bad. I didn't necessarily mind building it. It was actually a pretty fast build. It's not even 600 pieces. So you could imagine it doesn't really take that long. Another really cool thing about this set is the stand. Of course, all 3 sets have stands, but I definitely think when you're dealing with a scale kind of display set, having a stand on here is just so worth it. Yes, unfortunately, the stand is included in the price count, and as you can tell, the stand on this one definitely takes up maybe 40-50 pieces. So I guess that is something to either complain about or just be happy about. I don't know. Other than that, this is the Invisible Hand. Next ship we have is the Tandem 4, and it's such a popular ship. It's definitely a fan favorite, not just in the LEGO community, but also the Star Wars community. It's been shown in so many movies and series that I can't even name them all, but the very first appearance was in the very first Star Wars movie, which is The New Hope, and it was actually featured in the very beginning of the movie. So it's one of the first ships that Star Wars fans have ever seen, and I think it's safe to say we all fell in love with it. And in 2019, when they made the first big Tandem 4 ship, it was so popular, and to this day, that ship is still really popular. Sometimes hard to find. Sometimes you can find it on sale on Amazon or eBay, but other than that, it's a $300, $400 set nowadays. So they made the MIDI scale, M-I-D-I. I know it's still a little weird to say. I still keep saying mini scale. But yeah, they made the MIDI scale, and as you can tell, it's still really popular. This one has a little bit of mixed reviews, and I'm going to get into that right now. My favorite part about this ship is the thrusters in the back. There is 11 thrusters total. It just makes this ship so cool, so iconic. It's actually everyone's favorite feature. But other than that, the Tandem 4, there's so much to kind of go off of also. Darth Vader is very famous to being part of this ship. In the very first scene of The New Hope, of course, with Princess Leia trying to escape, so on and so forth. Of course, the history is just endless on this ship. But the thrusters are just so cool. It's one of the best features of the ship, and the side features. And then you have the front cockpit area that's also super, super famous. Other than that, I just love this set so much. I was so happy when they made this at a MIDI scale level. I cannot talk about this ship enough. The details are perfect. The color, yes, it's just white and red, but it just goes with the show. I have no problem with it. I'm honestly kind of sick of the gray when it comes to LEGO, so an all white and red ship is okay with me. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the Millennium Falcon, and in my opinion, it's the most popular one out of all 3 sets. And it's not because the Millennium Falcon's played out, is because we're going to talk about a little bit later on what you get for this exact set. The history goes without being said. It's the Millennium Falcon. I mean, I think it's in every single Star Wars movie, every single series, almost every single episode in some cases. So the set alone is just so popular. I was a little surprised that they went with this one in the StarShip collection because they do make this set so many times. They've made it over a dozen times, but each time's a little bit different than the last time, so I didn't have a problem with this. The details on this one is just so amazing. It's one of my favorite details out of all three of these ships. The stickers weren't so bad. The size is actually pretty perfect for almost 1,000 pieces. You definitely get your bang for your buck on this set. And just taking a look, even on the back, that big giant blue light thruster that you put back there, you don't really see that very often. It's just a nice tube that they utilize for this set. And one of the other popular parts about this set is the stand. I know that sounds crazy, but hey, in the LEGO community, the stand's pretty cool. For sets like this and how it tilts forward so you can see the top of the Millennium Falcon, a lot of old heads love this set. A lot of the new generation loves this set for this purpose. It's definitely affordable. You get one of the most iconic ships of all time. You definitely get a good building experience. It's not too expensive out of the price range. So in my opinion, I think this is one of my favorite ones. Now, before getting into the grading scale, I want to talk about something really cool that I think would have elevated these sets just a little bit more. You guys all know I'm a stickler for minifigs, so I think it would have elevated these sets just a little bit. Even one minifigure per set would have been great. It didn't even have to be an exclusive minifigure. You could add Han Solo, Princess Leia, Obi-Wan, as you guys can see here. I just think it would have added a little bit more juice to the sets. Again, it's just me being a stickler about it, only because I want more minifigures, and I think minifigures add a little bit more to sets. So I think it would have been a cool little feature LEGO could have thrown in there. Now getting into the grading, we're going to keep this simple. I'm going to go on details, display, and experience, and then we're going to see which one's the best. First up, we have details. I'm not the craziest about details sometimes. I'm more about the experience. But with these ones, there's a lot of detail with all three of these ones. It is definitely something really hard to grade when it comes to these ones, but I would say the number one standout was the Millennium Falcon. I mean, there's just way too many features on this one, from top, bottom, side, even to the display stand of it tilting forward. I kind of count that as the display detail, I should say. And then the Tantive 4 was the second best one with the thrusters and the stickers in great positions. And then unfortunately the invisible hand was kind of boring in some cases. There are some cool features, but the ship just wasn't necessarily big enough to display that many cool details. Next up, we're going to talk about display, and again, I care about display. These are MIDI scale. These are for display purposes, not so much play purposes. So display is kind of a big deal to me. Number one in my book is the Millennium Falcon. With the tilting action, you can kind of display this anywhere and it's going to look really good. High or low on a shelf, I think the display on this one is perfect. In second place is the Tantive 4. It is actually a really close one because the Tantive 4 just looks so cool. The problem is they didn't tilt it. You can move the Tantive from left to right on the display stand, so I guess that's kind of a cool feature. And in last place, unfortunately, is the invisible hand. It is just not anything to be displayed. In fact, it's kind of ugly in my opinion. They should have made it just a little bit bigger, which would have made it stand out just a little bit more in my book. And last but not least, we're going to talk about experience, and that's just building, the finances coming into it. How long is it going to take to build these sets? You know, was it an enjoyable build? And in first place, again, is the Millennium Falcon. It's almost 1,000 pieces for $80. You get so much, and it's not boring whatsoever, no matter how many times you build. The Millennium Falcon is just not a boring set to build. That is by far in first place. And in second place, and you'll be surprised, actually the invisible hand. It's actually a way better build than the Tantive 4. I know the Tantive 4 is just a little expensive for what you get. Yes, it's a beautiful set, but the invisible hand was just a little bit cooler. It's definitely really inexpensive, and you can find the invisible hand on sale. So when you get the invisible hand on sale for the prices and the pieces, it honestly makes a lot of sense to build it, and it's definitely affordable for a lot of people. The Tantive's a little bit expensive for what you get, so overall the Millennium Falcon is the best one in the experience category. And that leaves us to the final score, and that's the Millennium Falcon ranking #1. And that's just not in my book, that's in almost everybody's book. Some people have Invisible Hand #1. I just don't understand where they're coming from, but after this review, you can make the decisions for yourself. And in second place is the Tandem 4. There's just too much history with this set. This set is just so cool. The thrusters on the back just destroy the Invisible Hand when it comes to features and display looks. And unfortunately, in last place is the Invisible Hand. Again, a great set. Cool experience, definitely affordable. And that's the last of the review. LEGO did a really good job with these. They're all affordable. You can display them on your desk or in your office, the kitchen, anywhere and everywhere pretty much, because these fit almost anywhere in the household. So I do love these sets, and that's why they're going to be popular. And again, that brings me to the beginning, is these sets leave opening for the future. I mean, for midi scale only being under $100 each, I think that LEGO could definitely expand on this one, and I definitely think that they will. Being a StarShip collection, I think they're going to add a lot more to the end of this year, maybe even next year. So if you guys like this review, want to see more of my reviews, make sure to like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.